Welcome back to the SportsMax Zone. It's official. Head coach of Jamaica's senior Reggae Girlz, Vin Blaine, has resigned. This is a statement issued by the Jamaica Football Federation earlier on Tuesday. It said the Jamaica Football Federation would like to express sincere thanks and appreciation for the work that Coach Vin Blaine has done with the senior women's national team. Unfortunately, he has decided against taking the team to the next level. We hope that the relationship shared with the Federation would not end this abruptly, but we appreciate his take on the situation at hand. The JFF wishes him all the very best for the future. Now, Blaine leaves the job 1 week after being given the all-clear by the JFF's technical committee to continue preparing the team for upcoming World Cup qualifiers. The committee had launched a probe after receiving a letter in which specific claims were made about deficiencies in the coaching program being implemented by the Blaine-led coaching staff. That letter was signed by about 20 players. Under Blaine's leadership, the Reggae Girlz have been flawless on their quest to qualify for the 2023 FIFA World Cup in Australia and New Zealand. In 4 matches, the team scored 24 goals and conceded only 2. 4-0 they were under Blaine, who now joins us to talk about his decision. Vin, welcome to the SportsMax Zone. As usual, great to have you on. We can't say that this is a surprising decision that you've made, because reading between the lines, it did appear as if you were heading in that direction. But how difficult a decision was that? How difficult is it now, as we speak to you, to walk away from this?
Not very difficult based on the circumstances that faced me. I think, as you said, reading between the lines, you could pick up that was probably my decision, or my decision coming forward, going forward. It's a situation where, if you look at the entire, if everyone knew the entire process or what I went through, the toxic environment, started from just about day 1 or 2 in the program, where you had staff undermining the program, the previous staff. You also, have players questioning and wanting to tell who should be the equipment person, who should be the fitness coach. Those are things that went on. I came out with a smile on my face, because it's not for me to disclose those things in a camp. So I don't think I could move forward, although the federation says, okay, they're cleared you for that. But for the program to go forward, and for me, in my peace of mind, I don't need this type of toxicity around me. I've been coaching quite a while, and it's the worst camp I've ever been to. The girls came out and said what they have to say. I can't, fault them for what they're saying. That's their opinion. I proved somewhere along the line that some of the things that was said was not, was just straight out lies. That was written in a letter that today I still don't think, I'm 100% certain that letter was written by them. So I think that was the best decision for me to make at this time, for the sake of the program also, and for my own peace of mind.
Yeah, Vin, you said that it was not a difficult decision for you to make, given the circumstances facing you. But that aside, given the quality of this team and the prospects of this team, you, by your own admission on our show a couple of weeks ago, suggested that this team, based on its roster, is even stronger than the team that went to the 2019 World Cup finals in France. So from that standpoint, there must be a little bit of disappointment on your side that this has turned out the way it has.
Yeah, in a sense, if you look at that, Lance, because my aim coming into this, though, is to finish up my own career with going to the World Cup. That was one of the things that sort of drove me to be a part of this. I still believe they have a good team. I still believe they can make it to the World Cup. It's going to be difficult based on the group that we drew. But yeah, that's aside. I mean, like for the situation now, then it has changed a bit for me.
Coach, in a couple of articles that I read where you would have given the journalists the interview, you kept repeating that this decision was made in the best interest of the football program. You kind of hinted at that too when Lance questioned you just now. How is this, in your mind, I mean, based on when you analyze it, in the best interest of the Jamaica Reggae Girlz moving forward?
Well, as I said, the situation that I faced, I found myself in, and the fact that the young ladies wrote a letter, it showed that if you go into an environment like that, you might not have all the goals playing for you. And if the team doesn't play for you, that's a dangerous situation to find yourself in. So I figure I don't know who the coach will be. Based on this, what they did now, I don't think they will repeat. If they have a problem there, I don't think they'll repeat it because they recognize what they have done. I've had calls from young ladies that said they wanted me to discuss the present situation. That was too late. That should have been done before. So if I stay, to me, I'm out to prove something. I'm not out to prove anything. I think that overall discussions behind the scenes, whatever is happening behind the scenes, I think it's best for me to move on. I really don't need this. I really don't need it. I don't think it's always well for the program either.
Based on our conversations with you, I get the sense that you would have made this decision from before. You can correct me if I'm wrong. Why wait until the technical committee cleared you, then to come out and say that, you're leaving?
Well, the fact that the technical committee cleared me, my integrity comes first to me. I had to prove to the general public and the technical committee that all that was on that letter was nonsense. And when I say nonsense, from my perspective, I could prove to them, I sent to them, physical evidence of things that they said that I did not do. Like, for instance, no schedule daily or otherwise. That was just complete nonsense, right? So I had to read that process. I couldn't determine or manage how long the technical committee would take to do there. I know I met with them, then they went off and deliberated, and then they came back with what they had to say. And then now I had one more thing to take care of, and this is something I discussed with my general secretary. I had to make sure that the coaches that I brought in, the staff that I brought in, were taken care of. I could not just resign and leave them hanging or in the cold. So before I submitted my resignation, I had to make sure that all these places, all these areas were taken care of. I didn't want to leave them like that. Whether they're going to come back with, whether they're going to retain them or not, I don't know. That's not my problem. That's the JFF and the coaches to decide. But I had to make sure everything that I'm responsible for was taken care of, and then I could move on. And it was done yesterday with my discussion with the general secretary. It wasn't anything that they owed as such to the players, or outstanding amounts. It was just some areas that we had to make sure that we know exactly where they are when I resign, because I have a responsibility to them as a person who brought them in.
Of the girls who signed the letter, Vin Blaine, can you say that some of those who signed that letter subsequently contacted you off the air to express regret at signing the letter and to also express the hope of reconciling with you and with the rest of the team?
I know a couple have reached out to me and they said, Coach, we never signed this letter with that in mind. We looked at a couple of bullet points and we agreed with some of them, but we never signed the letter to say that we want to get rid of the staff. Recently, another person contacted me and said that a majority of girls are not for getting rid of the staff, but there are a certain amount of girls that are pushing the issue. I don't want to call names. I don't care who it is. I have an idea who it is. I should say I know, but it doesn't matter to me at this stage. Just Saturday gone, as I said, I got a letter from one of the players saying that they're reaching out to me on behalf of the team, want to know if I can engage in a meeting this coming week, which is today or whatever earlier days, to discuss the current situation. So if they say that, that means they're thinking about something. They are not, from my understanding, they're confused on what's happening. So they wanted to reach out to me to ask me what's happening. That's just too late because it doesn't make sense. I have a conversation with them when I'm not going to be involved. So they reached out, and I heard that they had a meeting on the Thursday before they sent me that discussing the way forward, and they were all saying they should contact me to find out what's happening. So I don't know if there's no communication with the JFF and them.
So I'm very happy you said that, because here's the thing. based on your stated reason for leaving, because the atmosphere was poisoned, the water in the well was discolored, you didn't want to be drinking it, and as you said, you didn't want to be leading a unit where there were people in the unit that didn't want to be going forward under Vin Blaine's leadership. So that was the impression I got at the start. Now that you've said that you have indeed spoken to some of the girls who signed the letter to say, boy, we didn't know what we were signing, we didn't see the full text of the thing, maybe we were misled, you even got a letter. So I'm saying there seems to be balance there, Vin Blaine. So given that the number who signed and the number who expressed remorse at signing, plus those who said that, yeah, we signed, but we were duped into signing, that suggests to me that the atmosphere could have been repaired, that the damaged relationships among the group, I mean, you won't have, at Man City or Liverpool, I'm sure not every player is happy with Pep or every player is happy with Klopp, but I'm saying, based on what you've said, there was enough to suggest that repair could have been done, that you could have mended these fences. So given the important mission ahead, why did you think the best thing to do would be to leave at this time?
Well, there are some underlying things that happen that I won't discuss on here, right? That contributed to this also. Right? There are some serious happenings on the radar that I can't discuss. I know what will happen going forward. Yes, I could stand up and say I'm not going forward. I'm leaving. I can stay and do this. But a lot of people wanted me to stay. A lot of the executive body wanted me to stay. You know, but I, as an experienced coach and a person that has a lot of experience, you know, directing countries and in this kind of area, I know exactly what to expect. I was going to put my character on the line to prove someone that I can. But
Vin, it's because of this excellent character and your reputation is spotless. I mean, the allegations shocked everybody because they were saying, who? Vin Blaine? But here's the thing. So within the ranks of the players, there were many, all right, several, who wanted to continue working with you. The administration publicly has backed you. The technical committee exonerated you. And I know you say there are details you can't enter into, but Vin Blaine, Jamaica wants to know, where is that undercurrent that so poisoned the well further that you couldn't continue despite the administration wanting you to continue, the technical committee exonerating you, and several of the players wanting to continue the working relationship? I want you to give me a sense of that, even if you say you can't say details.
I can't say details. I tell you, it's one of those situations where the JFF has to handle, not me, Vin Blaine. I definitely, as I said, see what's down the road. And all I can do is wish them all the best, but I can't get into details, George.
All right, let me ask you this then, Vin. Let me ask you it this way. Is it a situation, and I respect your need to hold on to some information, that's fine. But is there a situation where there are certain key components of the team where the relationship between certain players and yourself has broken down irreparably, to the extent that even if majority of the squad wants to continue working with you, given the importance of these players, or this player, I don't know, to the Reggae Girlz' future, that because that relationship is so damaged, you don't think in that context you should continue, but just step away, allow someone fresh to come in to give the girls the best chance of going forward? Is that a reasonable assumption to make, given what you say you can't say aligned with what we know?
Very reasonable, Joe. I think I couldn't have put it better to explain and try not to say, call names or anything. That is a situation that, you know, players, there are certain things that happened. Disrespect me for things that I don't think they had put forward, really. You know, it wasn't their idea. But I can't, as I said, I won't even go into detail of that, because I don't even want to give credence to these people. Right? I just want to know that it's not a who win or lost in a situation like this. It's for me personally, my own credibility, my own character, right? That I have to save. Not even save, but make sure that this won't happen again. So
here's the thing then. So I know, I've never been a coach. I've been watching people like you do it. But I know, Vin, that a coach's authority is a coach has to have primacy of authority. In other words, a coach can't manage by going to the JFF to say, talk to this player for me and get this player to behave. So it has to be that the respect and the authority has to come directly from the coach to the player. And what happens sometimes is that that relationship between coach and player breaks down to such an extent that the player doesn't want to take instructions, the player says things, the coach says things, that relationship breaks. And you can't then be a man of authority or a person of authority and go and expect the JFF to intercede for that player to then come on board with what you're trying to get the rest of the group to do. And if that player is influential in the group, then you're going to have the recipe for disaster. So pretty much what you're saying is that that was the situation, and that's why you say, you know what, for Jamaica's sake, it's best that you put somebody else in charge. Am I correct?
Exactly, because you see, there are incidents that happen. If I were to sort of discipline a player, first of all, you have fans that come to see certain players play. And also, there's a thing there, George, even when I was coaching Premier League, and if a player does something before a game and it will affect the team performance at the time, I'm not disciplining them before a game, especially when it's a game that you have to win. I always, outside of that, the next training session, we sit down, we have a team meeting, and we discuss what happened and hold the player accountable. So I had to make decisions that were better for the team, not for the person. Not a situation cut off your nose to spite your face. So I made those decisions, and going forward, I had planned to make other decisions to address that. But then the letter came out before I got an opportunity to go again. But you have players that can do something and run to someone, and say certain things, and it is addressed in a different environment, or in a platform. It's very difficult.
Yeah.
It takes away, it usurps your authority.
Yeah, it neuters the coach. One final one before we go, Vin. I mean, you've coached men. You're a Premier League champion with the team that is closest to your heart, Harbourview Football Club, Stars of the East. Your experience coaching men and this experience now coaching women. I mean, people off the bat will say, it's easier to coach women because, they'll follow instructions and they'll abide by the rules, and men are rowdy and men will have people who are egging them on and they'll threaten violence and everything. Can you make a declaration on whether or not that is true, that it's easier to coach women? Or based on this experience, you're going to change your mind about that?
Not really. It is definitely easier. It depends on the type of players you get and they bring to the table. I think that these set of players were influenced. I've been told not to say that, but they were definitely influenced. And so they came with a different view. And you must remember, I'm taking this team from a coach that was there before, established, and have a personal relationship with these girls. I had to learn all the different, personalities.
Yeah.
Get to know. So it was a process.
Yeah.
I don't think I was given an opportunity to go. You have staff members who came from the previous administration undermining the process.
Yeah.
That I can say definitely.
Yeah.
From day one, undermining the process, telling the girls things outside of our environment.
Yeah. Lastly, before we go, we're out of time. Is it fair to say, Vin, that this Reggae Girlz program is either hostage to an external benefactor or at risk of being hostage to an external benefactor, given all the factors that went into this mutiny by your players?
Probably hostage to. I know a lot of people might want to be able to say that, but definitely that's what it is. From my perspective, and this is one of the reasons why I definitely decided to just part ways, that them have the program, hopefully, and I wish them all the best. I don't know ill will to anyone. I wish them all the best going forward. It's my country. But it's just that I, at this moment, decided that it's best for me and the program.
Thank you. Thank you for talking to us today, Moran.
Yeah. What an interview. Well, still to come on the show, Liverpool continued their press for another EPL title. Despite today's victory over Southampton, the Reds remain 1 point behind leaders Man City. This means we'll have another season where the title will be decided on the final day of the season. And the Eastern Conference Finals of the NBA tips off later this evening. Game 1 goes down later this evening in Miami, where the Heat will host the Celtics. And the WhatsApp question of the day, be sure to send us your feedback to today's question. Do you think Vin Blaine's resignation will be detrimental to the Reggae Girlz World Cup qualifying campaign? Send your responses to 876-564-7661. Back in a moment, more SportsMax Zone after this.
Thank you for watching SportsMax on YouTube. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and click the notification bell to stay informed.